Hey, I'm Mike Shinoda, and you are watching Rock Sound.
Hi, it's James Wilson-Taylor here for Rock Sound in the very, very swanky surroundings of Cafe Royal, joined now by, of course, Mr. Mike Shinoda. How are you, sir?
I'm good.
Good, man. Really nice to see you. Welcome back to the UK, we should say.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, it's good to see you, man. And congratulations, of course. The album is now finally out. We've already chatted to you a little bit in the magazine about it. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that was a really nice takeaway, you said how it was quite a cathartic experience, as you might imagine, writing it and putting it all out there. Now that it's all out there and in the public, how are you feeling about those songs and the reactions from fans?
It's great. It's really nice, and it's like almost like I hoped, to some degree, like I hoped that it would have this connection with people in their, not just like my story, not just like what happened in the last year, but in their story. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's actually been happening. So it's always a good feeling. Yeah,
nice. Real connections coming through there, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of it is because I've done a couple shows now, and the shows. There, I play a little bit of I play the new stuff. I play a little bit of Fort Minor, a couple Linkin Park things, and the shows are fun, and they also have like a weight to them, like a gravity to them. Right. It's like a little more than a little something else, which is nice.
No, that's really nice to hear, actually. I was going to mention that, actually, as well. From what I've seen of the live shows, particularly online, particularly the K-Rock one, actually. What was a really nice moment? You allude to, you play a couple of Linkin Park songs in there, and I guess while that could have been quite a somber moment, it seems to almost be a celebration, like particularly in the end. I mean, did that reaction surprise you at all? I mean, it's a wonderful thing to see, really.
I don't think it surprised me, but it was, I think it was better than I thought.
Yeah.
And the other day I played a really small, it was like a 600 capacity venue in New York, and it was very, it was even more energetic than the K-Rock one. It was very, in the end, was very energetic that night. And it's something that I'm as I play more shows, it's a whole new experience. I mean, first of all, just doing stuff on my own is there's a lot of newness to it. It just it's actually the surprises around every corner, which is kind of keeps it exciting, and it's also open for a lot of spontaneity.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, it's exciting to hear. How did you select, particularly the Linkin Park and Fort Minor songs? How did you select which ones you were going to do in this new era?
It's still changing. Like I've got more songs. Right now, I've got more songs than I can really put in the set. Like in terms of what I'm ready to play or what I want to play.
Right.
Which is nice. And I've been playing it by ear. But yeah, some of the songs are in there because they're fan favorites and they're some of the popular stuff. Other ones like Kenji, for example, I added in because I feel like, especially in the U.S. shows, things like the immigration issues are a big deal right now, and that song is all about, in World War II, my family and all of the Japanese on the West Coast were sent to internment camps in the U.S. So it's topically like relevant.
Yeah, absolutely. God, that's fascinating, actually. Do you see there being more political undertones then in the show potentially moving forward? Or?
Well, I mean, it's just that, there are, when it seems appropriate, when it's something that I feel like I want to talk about, I brought it in a little bit. Like I have another song that's a Linkin Park track called Hands Held High, which was kind of almost like a stream of consciousness rant under the, when Bush was George W. was president, and I was the other night I was just feeling that, and so I played those two songs back to back. I did the Hands Held High verse a cappella, and then I played Kenji, and part of it is just like being on Twitter that day and reading it and going like, oh my God, this is like so insane. And then other times it's about it is just about like kind of going through certain things during the day and wanting to play certain songs. It's a being in a band, you don't get to do as much of that,
right?
Because you've got, like, if you've got 6 people in a band, if one or two of them isn't prepared to play a song, then you just can't play it. You know, I could want to play. I could text everybody that day and say, guys, like, I really want to play this song on this day because, you know, blah blah blah. Like, please, can you be ready to play it tonight? And if the guys can't, you know, if our drummer doesn't have his drums in the room, obviously, then the answer is probably no.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Bit of freedom, I suppose, then. I guess that's the thing. It's a bit of freedom in that atmosphere. Let's talk more about the album as well, because what has been nice to see, you have explored, I suppose, quite a few new sounds, and a few new sounds influenced by newer artists, I suppose. I want to talk about some collabs in particular. How did the Blackbear collab come about, first of all?
I had reached out to Blackbear back when we were recording One More Light, and he actually was a co-writer on Sorry for Now off the One More Light record. So we had worked on, you know, we had played around with a couple ideas then, and when I reached out to him this time, it was like, you know, it was just felt pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were clearly keen to work with him again then after that positive studio experience.
Yeah. Well, he's really talented. And he was, at the time when we did About You, he was working on some of his stuff with a couple of producers who go by the name Basecamp. And Basecamp was in town to do his stuff. And so he was like, you got to get these guys to, like, you know, let's put them in on the song too. So basically the production and like the outro of the song, that's more them than me. And that's one of the few moments on the record when somebody else kind of took over in terms of the production, because most of the, like, you know, 95% of the record is my production.
No, that's interesting though. Nice collaborations in there. Let's talk about the Grandson moment as well.
Yeah.
I mean, what a fantastic new artist. How did you come about working with him?
I just found him on a playlist, honestly, and it was funny because I oftentimes I'm you know, every Friday I'm looking at new music and looking to see what's out, and a lot of times finding stuff that's pretty unknown. Yeah. And I tend to like, you know, stuff that's off the beaten path more than the popular stuff. It's just I don't know what it is. And I found his stuff and I followed him on social media, and he like DM'd me immediately.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was like, dude, I'm such a fan. This is like so crazy that you followed me. Like, what's up?
Oh, that's so sweet.
And it turned out that he lives like 15 minutes away from me in LA. So I was like, well, let's just go get lunch. And we ended up hanging out a while, and the song was just like a natural thing to do. But, you know, to me, like, I with the aesthetic / you know, dynamic of Linkin Park, you have like a lot less room to do that, I feel like. For at least it's been my experience. Like, we haven't done as much of that, especially with smaller artists. And like, sometimes I'll suggest artists to the band, and it would be, you know, like they weren't that interested. Right. Like, other people aren't interested because it's like some random, you know, artist that nobody's heard of. So like, why would we work with that person? Like, they've got literally like 50,000 followers. You know, the band has a bajillion on.
More than that, yes.
Yeah. And so for me on my own, like, that's one thing about like doing stuff on my own. Obviously, number one, I decided to do on my own because it was the album is a very personal album. Number two, I did it on my own because there's a level of like control that I wanted to have over it to make sure that it looked and sounded and felt a certain way. But the third thing is spontaneity. Like, just if I decide right now that like, okay, like, I want this to be my music video. Right. Or like whatever the next song.
I'm into it. Let's do it.
Yeah, you know, we can just get this footage and then put the track over top of it.
I'm gonna hold you to that now.
That would be like that is possible. If that's what I want to do, then that's what we do. Yeah. And that's a lot of fun.
That's really lovely to hear. Really kind of freeing. Speaking of all these collaborations as well, we saw you got our dear friend at Rock Sound, Taka, up on stage with you very recently, which was awesome. I guess you guys have probably known each other for a little while. Do we think there'll be any more studio time, perhaps, with Taka?
I don't know. I mean, it remains to be seen. You and I know he's an incredible singer and a very sweet guy, by the way, like an awesome guy. And I did see him the last time he came to LA. So, you know, things are still, we talk. We'll see. I don't have a song in my pocket that I can
Sure,
play. So.
I'm sure. Yeah, we keep our fingers crossed, though. We're big fans of both you guys. Mike, it's been absolutely lovely talking to you. Final question for you. I just want to focus on the future, really. What are the goals and the ambitions moving forward to 2019 and beyond with this solo career? Like, what would you like to achieve next?
You know, the main focus for me right now is to explore all the things that I can explore with it. And that sounds really almost like I'm evading the question, but the truth is that it's a journey without a goal. Like if there are goals, they're so simple that they almost would seem like boring. Like a goal would be to feel like I know what my live set is supposed to look and feel like. Like right now, it's still changing a lot, and I'm still, just as an artist and a person who, you know, likes to get things right. Like I feel like I'm still figuring out what it's supposed to be. Obviously we're still like promoting the music and still getting it out there to people. I think that there's some people that are actually scared to listen to post-traumatic because it sounds like dark or it sounds heavy, which can be the case, but I feel like what they need to know is the album may start there, but it doesn't end there, that as it goes, it's like a diary, and this year it started in a dark place, but it ended in a place that's more light and open. So the album does that. So the more I can, like, you know, spread the word of that, and hopefully that's a message of hope to, you know, fans and you know, I should say old fans and people that potentially are fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, other than that, I'm open to suggestions. So just hit me up on social media and let me know what I ought to be doing.
Send in a few tweets, see what we want next. Mike Shinoda, lovely to see you, man. Thank you very much.